Hey everybody, Jack Hammer live here from Levi Stadium where the 49ers had a big win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll get into all of it next on the Jack Hammer Show. Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. Once again, Jack Hammer of the Santa Rosa Press Democrat here live at Levi Stadium where today the 49ers blew out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers by a score of 35-7. It wasn't even as close as that score would indicate. It was a bigger blowout than even that. We'll get into all of it. We'll take some of your questions and your comments as we go through this. This should take us about 20 minutes, maybe a half hour at the most. We'll go through this real quick. Just want to shout out a few folks who are watching. We have the Moore family says, "Sup, Jack? Hope you enjoyed the game." I did. Hope you did as well. We have Luke Walsh. Hey, everybody. Elijah Mitchell tuning in. He says, "Do you think this Trey versus Brock and Jimmy is a race issue because fans are not on board with Trey, but they are with Jim and Brock?" That's a really good one, Elijah. We'll get to that one as well. That's one I really we'll get into that one. I don't know about that today, but definitely tomorrow as well. Moonman at Jack. How about Glock 13? That was quite a performance. And then hey, here's Lucas from Austria. Lucas. Bessie, he was here today. I got a chance to meet this guy. He says, "Jack, it was a pleasure to meet you." Lucas, it was a pleasure to meet me. Pleasure to meet me. Woo! No, it was a pleasure to meet you, Lucas. It was a thrill for me to get a chance to meet up with you. You know, if you guys watch this channel, you know Lucas is always on here, and usually he's watching us in the middle of the morning. Like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning out in Austria. He's actually here at Levi Stadium. He was in the press box today. Had a chance to say hi to him. Shake his hand. We took a picture after the game as I was heading down to the press conferences afterwards. So the pleasure was all mine, Lucas. Trust me. It was awesome to meet you and your father as well. We have Thomas the Trowel in here. Says, "Jack, is the kid for real or are the faithful overhyping him?" Thomas, you saw the game today. Come on now. You saw the way that this game went down. This wasn't a fluke. We'll get into that one as well. And then also Alan says, "Jack, I did see this game coming into it. What a way to beat Brady." Absolutely. They demolished Tom. I apologize for this cough. I just won't go away. But we'll see how it goes. See how long I can hold out. Just want to go through this thing for you guys real quick. And if there's some questions that you want to throw at me, go ahead. But like I said, the 49ers, they came out, they blasted Tampa Bay today, 35-7. Their sixth consecutive victory on the season. That means the 49ers are now at 9-4. You add in Seattle losing to Carolina today up in Seattle, and the 49ers can clinch the NFC West with a win on Thursday night up there in Seattle. So huge victory for the 49ers, all things considered. The one thing, though, is that this victory did not come without a price. 49ers have a short week. Like I mentioned, they're going to be going up to Seattle to play on Thursday night. Not a good time to have these injuries that they suffered today. Kevin Givens leaving early with a knee injury. Deebo Samuel went out in the second quarter with an ankle injury. The two starters are going to miss multiple weeks, but there's no timetable right now for the return. As far as the Deebo Samuel injury, what I can say, Kyle Shanahan mentioned after the game that it is an ankle injury. They don't believe it's broken. They'll get more on it, but it looks like it's probably going to be a high ankle injury. We've dealt with a lot of those in San Francisco with Jimmy Garoppolo and others. Could be something that keeps him out all the way until the playoffs, maybe a little bit before that or a little bit after that. So could be a long-term injury for Deebo Samuel. That injury coming late in the second quarter on a running play, running the ball in between the tackles, just kind of got his ankle caught up, got bent over. At first, when I saw that play on replay, it looked like it was going to be a knee injury. The ankle injury, a bad blow, but at least it's not a knee in that, if he had torn up his knee and that kind of thing, it could have been a long-term injury that would have lasted into the offseason and well into the offseason. So for the 49ers overall, in the bigger scheme of things, the injury to Deebo Samuel, not quite as bad as was probably feared, but still not a good one at all. In addition to those two starters, the 49ers also lost Dante Johnson to a knee injury. The Johnson has been on the practice squad all year, was called up today, injured that knee on I believe it was kickoff coverage. That's a tough blow for him. Kerry Hyder Jr. suffered an ankle injury. He played through it. Same with Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy suffered an oblique injury. And then you also have Samuel Womack, who is in the concussion protocol. So when you start to look at this and you realize that the 49ers have a game in 4 days from today up in Seattle, this is a really tough game for them. Johnson, not on the regular roster anyway, but as a special teams performer for him. Kerry Hyder gives them good depth in the middle of that defensive line. Obviously, Brock Purdy, you need to keep an eye on that with the oblique. We've seen a number of quarterbacks get lost due to oblique injuries. That's a tough injury for quarterbacks, and we've seen that actually take some quarterbacks out of the game. So, and then with Womack, in the concussion protocol, with only the few days that they have to go to get ready before they go up to Seattle, I would guess that we're not going to see Samuel Womack against the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday. So definitely, and then there's no word on leaving. Asks if there's anything on Javon Kinlaw. No, nothing on Javon Kinlaw. I did see him walking around today. That's good. So not sure what happened to. I'm not sure what happened to Brock Purdy. I'm not sure when that happened, but we'll find out soon enough. We're not going to like Luke says here. We're not going to know today, but we should find out more about it tomorrow. Kyle Shanahan usually does his conference call on Monday afternoon around 3:30. That's probably when we'll find out more of the extent of Deebo Samuel's injury, the extent of all these injuries will probably come up then. Rohan, good to see you on here. Says, "What's up, my man? Cool background. Thank you. I got the stadium behind me. That's fantastic. It's hard to beat being on just off the field here at Levi Stadium after the game." Luke wants to know if there's any defensive tackles in free agency, the practice squad that can play on Thursday. Well, the 49ers have guys there. Once you saw one of the things that they did today was T.Y. McGill came into the game. He played quite a bit in the middle. He's kind of their most recent defensive tackle acquisition that was called up. He was on their practice squad, recently activated to the active roster a couple of weeks ago. So I don't think we're going to see any major moves along the defensive line for Thursday night. Something to definitely keep an eye on, though. Don't want to miss that. And then Thomas says he thought he blew his knee out. So did I. I thought that was a really bad one. Let's go through this really quick. I want to get into this Brock Purdy game today. Purdy, you look at my first question for this game was, can Brock Purdy beat Tom Brady? That's a yes. You look at this game in the first half, Brock Purdy was on fire. He completed 14 of 18 passes for 185 yards, a pair of touchdowns. San Francisco built up a 28-0 lead. To put that into perspective, there is only one team that has scored more than 27 points this season against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs are the only team that scored more than 28 points against this team. The 49ers put up 28 in the first half. They probably could have put up more, but after the halftime, they went into a little bit more of they backed off quite a bit. There was only a few passes for Purdy. He only threw the ball 3 times in the second half, completed 2 of those. So it wasn't a whole lot going on for the 49ers passing game in the second half. They really kind of just took the throttle off. Their first possession, they came out, they scored a touchdown again right away. We'll get into that as well, but I looked at this game coming in, and myself and a lot of others thought that this was probably going to be a little bit of a run-heavy game plan. That's what a number of folks, I think, were thinking we were going to see this week. But it was anything but. The first play of the game, they came out, Brock Purdy with an audible, kind of screwed that up a little bit, he said, after the game, and he just got smacked upside the head by Keanu O'Neal on a blitz, ended up being a 15-yard personal foul penalty. And then he threw the ball the next 3 plays as well, including a nice ball on 3rd down to George Kittle over the middle for a gain of 15 that kept that drive alive, which eventually led to a touchdown. That shows a lot of what he's been saying about Brock Purdy. The the moxie that he plays with, the toughness, the grit, all those kind of things. You saw that right off the bat today with the hit, and then the way that he just kept going. And, beyond that, you look at what he did, the third 49ers possession, that one he shows off his footwork. They get down there to the other end of the field. I think they're at about the 2 or 3 yard line. 49ers get into a passing situation, kind of spread themselves out. Tampa sends a blitz. You see Purdy be able to avoid that blitz and he does a really good job. One of the things that I didn't like about his performance last week was there was a couple of times when he had pressure, instead of stepping up into the pocket, he tried to bail out and around. You saw him step up and climb the bucket all the way in for a touchdown. It was just a really nice play. It's been a while since we've seen the 49ers have a quarterback that could really move. Jimmy Garoppolo, not bad with his arm, but nowhere near what Brock Purdy is with his legs. And so you're able to see the quarterback use his feet and get in the end zone there on a 2-yard touchdown run. Next possession, first play coming out of the gate, the 49ers go play action boot out to the right side, out to Purdy's right. A Tampa Bay defender's right in his face, slides underneath him, and then he finds Deebo Samuel on the right sideline with a nice throw for a gain of 18. And then again, just another big play. He ends that possession with the deep touchdown pass to Christian McCaffrey from 29 yards out. Another Tampa Bay blitz. Guy's right in his face. He's hit as he's throwing, puts the ball perfectly on the outside shoulder. McCaffrey's able to catch that ball. It was really tight along the sidelines. It looked like the ball might have come out early. It might look like he was bobbling it, but he was able to get his foot in. Just a really nice play from Brock Purdy. A terrific ball, really nice catch on the back end by McCaffrey. And it wasn't even over then. The fireworks continued on as the first half wound down. 49ers took over at their own 9. Purdy led the 49ers offense on a 91-yard drive, got him all the way down to the 32-yard line. Again, guys in his face, looks to his left, looks like he's going to throw the short route, but then he sees Brandon Ayuk wide open deep down the left side, puts it out there just outside of the outstretched arms of a Tampa Bay defender for another touchdown. So overall, 14 of 18, 185, a pair of touchdowns in the first half. You look at the overall for this game, 16 of 21, still 185 yards. He completed 2 of 3 passes in the second half. Neither one of them gaining. I think one was for a yard. The other one was for -1 yard, and finishes off with 2 touchdowns. So big Brock Purdy with a very, very solid first start. You look at this game, and I've seen people talking about this in context to Nick Mullins and so on. That needs to be pumped. You need to pump the brakes on that, because I don't care if you look at this through the context of what Nick Mullins did. Nick Mullins in his first start against the Oakland Raiders here on a Thursday night. The Raiders weren't a very good defense. You look at the Houston Texans last year in the first home start for Trey Lance. Houston wasn't this defense. This is a different beast altogether in Tampa Bay. There's a reason why they had given up the 5th lowest passing yards per attempt, the 5th lowest points total per game, all those types of things. This was a very good defense that he went up against today, and Purdy, along with his playmakers, they lit these guys up, and it was a blowout from the very beginning. And that leads us to the second one, which was, will the 49ers ruin the homecoming for Tom Brady? Yeah, they did. They sure did. It was a blowout for Tom Brady. The 49ers today made Tom Brady look as old as he is. They made him look old. We know that he's slow, but they also made him look bad today. And I know that he was playing without, his right tackle, Tristan Wirfs, but Tristan Wirfs isn't the one who underthrew a wide open Scotty Miller deep. Not having Tristan Wirfs isn't why he threw the interceptions that he threw in the second half. The 49ers defense was all over the field. Brady just didn't look like much at all. He's just a sitting duck in the pocket. And you look at this game, the 49ers defense, they held Brady to only 4.6 yards per attempt today. Brady completing 34 of 55 attempts for 253 yards. He did have 1 touchdown, which was, even that was a little bit of a funny play, in that it bounced off of the intended receiver's hands into another receiver for the touchdown. But you look at this game, and it was just a struggle. It was just a struggle bus all day long for Brady. Struggled to get it going in the first half. They had the one drive. They got down here to the 8-yard line, 3rd and 2. Brady has Chris Godwin on running the corner into this side of the end zone, overthrows him deep. Wasn't even close. Jimmy Ward was on the coverage there. Then he comes back on 4th and 2 from the 8, tries to hit Mike Evans over the middle. That ball's incomplete. Jimmy Ward was there on both of those plays in coverage. The second one was much better coverage. The first one was borderline pass interference kind of a thing, but just a really, really nice coverage there that holds them, keeps them off of the board, and then that's what led to the long touchdown drive for the 49ers at the end of the half. And then you open up the second half, and that's where the 2 interceptions come in for Brady. Third play of the second half, Brady having to hold the ball a little bit longer than he might want to, tries to hit Mike Evans over the middle. The ball sails. Tayshaun Gibson is there, jumps up, catches it, and takes off the other way with it for his second interception of the season. I mean, that's a big one, too, when you think about it. Tayshaun Gibson and his secondary mate there, Talanoa Hufanga, 6 interceptions between those two guys. That's one of the biggest numbers that the 49ers have had in quite a while when it comes from the safety position. I think it's the most since either 2015 or 2016. I'd have to go back and look it up. But it's been a while since the 49ers have had that kind of productivity from their safeties in terms of turnovers. The second one, the very next possession they have the ball, Brady's moving the offense down the field, tries to throw the ball out to the right side to Mike Evans, a little short, and you have Dre Greenlaw jump up, get a hand on it, deflects the pass up into the air, picks it off himself for the second one, and that play comes a few plays after what should have been a touchdown. Brady had Scotty Miller wide open deep down this right sideline right here, and he was behind Yammer Lenore. He had beaten Lenore. I don't know exactly how he got behind him, but Lenore was in the oh no, I'm beat position, just sprinting as fast as he could to try to get back to him. And if he wasn't in that, if he had been in good coverage position, he probably would have ended up with an interception. Instead, the ball bounces off of his left shoulder for an incompletion as he's trying to catch up. But as I said, Brady just Tom Brady didn't look like he looked like I said earlier. He looked like he was older, looked like a guy that's been struggling, and the 49ers put it on him today. And just kind of joking around before the game that maybe the 49ers can go after this guy for next year, Tom Brady, that is. I think the 49ers will be just fine without Tom Brady. I like Tom Brady. The Tom Brady that we see now today, I know it's the 49ers defense, so I understand that that's a good group. But, yeah, Tom Brady, big numbers this year, but there's a reason why they're 6-7. He's part of the problem in Tampa Bay right now, I think. And they don't have another guy to come back after. So it'll be interesting there. No, Tom didn't say hi to me. Tom didn't say hi. He was rude. He didn't say hi to me. I didn't say hi to him though either. I did get some video of him before the game, which was cool. I did like the fact that he, it was fun to see Tom Brady play. I've never seen Tom Brady in person before. I know from watching him on TV that this is the case, but man, my one takeaway from the day is I don't know if I've ever seen a quarterback complain to the referees like Tom Brady does. Every single time that somebody blew on him, he was whining. Every single time there was a tight throw that didn't go his way, he's complaining. All the guy did was bitch and moan the whole game. Oh my gosh, it was awful watching him play, but good to see him lose. Good that he's a local guy. I like the fact that he's from the Bay Area, but it was good to see the 49ers take it to him, that's for sure. We got Niner Fanatic Podcast in the house. He says, "What up, Jack? See you tomorrow." Absolutely. Looking forward to seeing you too. This thing overall, just a really good game from Brock Purdy, the 49ers. And then also the 49ers ground game. That was my third one. Can the 49ers take advantage of Tampa Bay on the ground? And that's a resounding yes as well. The 49ers ran over and through the Buccaneer defense today. 206 yards, an average of 5.8 yards per attempt. That's one of the biggest numbers the 49ers have put up this season in terms of yards per attempt at 5.8. Big reason, you had explosive plays from everybody. Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Jordan Mason, all put up explosive plays. McCaffrey in particular, he had 119 yards today on 14 carries. He had a number of explosive runs. He had the 38-yard touchdown burst. That was the only touchdown of the second half for the 49ers. But he also had several other big runs throughout the game. Opened up the game. His first carry was a 21-yard blast up the middle over the left side. Just blew through there. It was a really nice run for 21. And then on the 49ers' second touchdown drive, you saw a pair of runs from McCaffrey. 2 times he had back-to-back plays, toss sweep out to the left side, and he picked up 13 yards. So just really nice overall production from Christian McCaffrey today on the ground. You add in the passing, receiving yards, and I think he's over 150 yards again today. So McCaffrey just continues to show his worth since that trade and how much he means to this team. And Deebo Samuel, before the injury, he put the 49ers in the end zone on their first possession. I think this is one of the few times, I think this might have only been the second time this season that the 49ers have scored on their opening possession of the game. I'll have to go back and check that out. But he was able to go 13 yards around the right side. So you had those back-to-back runs by McCaffrey to the left side. Then they went to the right side with Deebo Samuel. Blocking was perfect, and it looked like some of those touchdown runs from last season. Just got around to the edge there, blocked up really well. Barely got in the end zone right here in the right front corner. He was able to sneak through. Really good, couple of really good runs for Samuel there. The other runs, not so much, but he did have that one big 13-yard gain. And then last but not least, when it comes to the 49ers ground game, it's Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason didn't touch the ball in the first half, but he ran it a lot in the second half. He had 11 carries, 56 yards. He had a long of 18. You saw him make a couple of he had a couple of really nice runs. I think there was another one that was over 10 yards, or I think it was 11. So a pretty solid game out of Jordan Mason as well, and I think he just continues to earn the trust of Kyle Shanahan. From a couple of weeks ago, the 4-minute offense situation, then what he did last week, and then now this week, really seeing good things out of Jordan Mason. You're going to continue to see more and more of him be utilized in this offense as it goes through. Really quick, and this is a good question. I like this one. KW2421 says, Jack, what do you think changes with Deebo's sideline? Well, I think the thing is, I don't think you're going to see a lot change. I mean, it's the 49ers offense is still the 49ers offense. We saw the 49ers go down and play a really good game against the Los Angeles Rams. I'll take it for what it's worth because it was the Rams. 49ers know them really well. But, the 49ers, they did okay without Deebo Samuel down in Los Angeles in that one game where they didn't have him. It's going to change some things up. But I've tweeted this out during the game. And for me, what I think happens is the injury to Deebo Samuel means that it is time for Ray McCloud to get his opportunity. That's kind of what he was brought in to be. He's kind of the Deebo light. They brought him in, and during training camp, you saw Ray McCloud doing a lot of the same things that Deebo Samuel was asked to do. He was getting all the Deebo Samuel reps during training camp before Deebo signed his contract, and then as Deebo Samuel was working his way into shape, you saw all those carries going to Ray McCloud. So 49ers offense is going to still be the 49ers offense, but it's going to be Ray McCloud taking the place of Deebo Samuel and giving you those reps. So hope that answers your question. If you have any more, go ahead and hit me up on those. Going back to my other question, going back to the defensive side of the ball, I asked if Nick Bosa was going to play. I had a lot of other things that I wanted to talk about, but then Nick Bosa didn't practice all week. So just had to stick with Nick Bosa if it was even going to be playing at all. And he played, and he didn't practice all week, but he was out there. He made the start, and he made his presence felt on the opening possession of the game. 3rd and 9, the Buccaneers did a good job on their opening possession. Remember, the 49ers were up 7-0. Tampa Bay moving little bits here and there. They're doing really good on 1st and 2nd down, giving them 3rd and shorts, and they're moving the ball. And then what happens is they run the ball on 1st down. Leonard Fournette gets dropped for a loss of 1. Next play, Brady's makes an inaccurate throw to Julio Jones on an out route to the left side. So now they're stuck with 3rd and 9. 3rd and 9 is not where Tom Brady wanted to be today. With that offensive line being the way it is, and you had Nick Bosa and the 49ers all over Tom Brady. It looked like Bosa was going to get a sack there. Looks like it probably should have been. If it was anybody but Tom Brady, they probably would have whistled it down. But Brady was able to still get the ball out of his hands before it falling to the ground. So there was an incomplete pass, and then that led to the missed field goal for Tampa Bay. So despite not registering a sack, the 49ers did not sack Tom Brady at all today. They were able to get to him 7 times. Not a lot when you consider he dropped back 55 times, but still 7 hits on Tom Brady today. Kerry Hyder led the 49ers. He had 2 hits on Brady. And then in addition to, you had the 2 by the 2 hits by Hyder. You had the one that I mentioned by Nick Bosa. You also had a quarterback hits by Jimmy Ward, Samson Ebicom, Eric Armstead, and Jordan Willis, all getting to the Buccaneers quarterback. So really good job by the 49ers overall, putting pressure on Tom Brady today, getting in his face and putting some hits on him. So they definitely heated him up a little bit. They didn't have to bring a bunch of pressure to do it. That's not their style anyway, but they do it when they need to. Just a really good overall effort. I don't think so. KW 2421. I don't think Ty Davis Price is going to be getting touches. This is the running back touches are going to go to Christian McCaffrey, Jordan Mason. If when it comes to the wide receiver touches in the running game, those are going to go to Ray McCloud. I mentioned his name already. We saw it today. We saw Ray McCloud get a few runs in there today. So that's who it's going to be. You're not going to see Ty Davis Price, I don't think, anytime soon. Ty Davis Price isn't just, there's something going on with him. Didn't like that draft pick to begin with. It never made sense based on what they do. And right now it's definitely not paying out for him. We have Moses in the house. How you doing, Moses? Good to see you. He says, Jack, you know me, I'm not going to jump on the Purdy train, but I would like to see how he does in a hostile environment Thursday. It will tell me a lot. Thoughts? I agree. I mean, I thought that Brock Purdy played very well today. That's the next step, though, in seeing what they have here with Brock Purdy is, can he go out and play in a hostile environment like what they're going to get up in Seattle on Thursday night? It's going to be really interesting to see with all the injuries and everything. That's going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward. I'm going up to Seattle. I'm flying up Thursday. Be there Thursday and come back on Friday, but I'm really looking forward to it. I agree with you, Moses. I think that's the next step in the evolution of that. Let's see what else there was. If there was any others that I wanted to hit on really quick. Randall Riley coming and says, Jack, remember pregame chat? I asked if Purdy balled out against the Bucs defense. Would he be pleasantly surprised? Absolutely, Randall. I like Brock Purdy. There's a lot of things that I like about him. I just needed to see him actually do it in a game. As the starter, and he played almost the whole game last week against a pretty good Miami defense. He only missed one series of that game, so he played a lot in that one too. And so for him to do it in back-to-back weeks against defenses as good as this, that's fantastic. And, again, going up to Seattle, that's going to be a tough environment. I've already seen some people kind of starting to lay the groundwork for ripping into him if they lose next week, or saying, look, he's not the real deal. 49ers haven't been a very successful team when it comes to winning games up in Seattle. Garoppolo did in 2019, but other than that, that's a spot that they've struggled to win games in. So if Brock Purdy can go up to Seattle and beat the Seahawks on Thursday night and clinch this NFC West, woo boy, it's going to be a lot of fun. So yes, Randall, I remember that. You were all over it, and I appreciate you for keeping me on my toes and keeping me on the straight and narrow. Thomas wants to see Mason get those goal line carries and get more touches earlier. Dude's a Mack truck. I agree. Let's see what else we have going on. Just going through real quick. Yeah, I hear you, 20 KW, but overall, the fact that the 49ers were able to, I think this 49ers offensive line is pretty good. They're struggling a little bit in the run game when it comes to pass protection. They're pretty darn good, and I think their secondary has a lot of depth. They've got a lot of young guys up there too, so it'll be interesting. And then we got James Foster coming in here. He says, Purdy isn't that dude. Be real with yourselves, peeps. Paid $1.99 to tell me that. James, you're wrong. At least for today, you're wrong. We'll find out about Brock Purdy and exactly what he is over time. But it's hard to knock what he's done so far in terms of week one. Or game one against Miami. That was a pretty solid effort, a very solid effort here. You look at those two teams that he was going up against. Strong performances on both. So got to give the shout out there. Lucas wants to know if Rob is coming to the game on Thursday, because then I don't have to watch it in the middle of the night in Austria, because they always lose when Rob is at games. You're going to need to watch it because Rob is going to the game. Yes, he is. Yes, I love Rob. He is going to the game. and it'll be fun to see him. And then my last question, and this one was an easy one: who wins the turnover battle? That was San Francisco. You look at this thing, and the 49ers forced 3 turnovers from Tampa Bay. They lost 1, but this game was over. Those turnovers had nothing to do with this game. This game was 28-0 or 21. I think it was 21-0 when Deebo Samuel had his fumble. That was the first turnover of the game, but it was already 21-0. And when the 49ers went up 21-0, I tweeted out, "This game is over." And I had a lot of people questioning me, telling me that I'd done it too soon, yada, yada, yada. Didn't respond to anybody, but I will say this. If you look at what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have done in terms of points scored, you could, and just the way that this game was going, you could tell they weren't going to get 21 points. There was no way in heck that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were going to get 22 points tonight against this 49ers defense. Wasn't even going to be close. So, yeah. And then you have Jaguayo coming in. Thank you for your super chat. Says Jack, our offensive line is playing well. No sacks. Yeah, no sacks. They opened up some holes today. It was a lot of zone stuff, a lot of outside runs and things like that. It really helped them out. I thought they played a very good game today, all things considered. So pretty good there overall. Thank you for your super chat. Yes, and the offensive line, they've been playing well for a while now. And I think people look at that and they see a couple of mistakes here and there, and it gets a little blown out of proportion, but I think it's pretty good. Jack, Moses wants to say, Jack, did you see Jerry Rice tweet about run deep up the middle? If the GOAT is saying this, Kyle needs to change that. Thoughts? Look, I wasn't a big fan of what they were doing. They're up 21-0. Maybe that's a time when you don't run Deebo Samuel, especially on a running play like that where it's right up the gut. I thought that was an interesting decision on their part. It hurt them in a big way. I'm not blaming Kyle Shanahan for the injury, but I question that play call. I think that's one where you don't need to be going in that direction at that point in time. Up 3 or up 21, excuse me. Just I don't see that one. So that's a tough one there for me. Big City Man, if that pick counted, that would have been 2 picks in 5 quarters of play. That wouldn't be good. That's why Purdy only had a couple of passes in the second half. Wrong. The reason he only had a couple of passes in the second half is because the 49ers were winning 28-0. They weren't going to come out throwing the ball. You're up by 28 points. Why are you gonna waste that? Why put anybody at risk in terms of throwing the ball if you're up by 28 points? So no, the interception had nothing to do with it. They did get a break. It was definitely a hold on Juwan Jennings on that play. They did catch a break though. That was a tough one. That was the kind of what the F play that I was worried about with Brock Purdy. Jack, Thursday night's game going to be the same as what we saw tonight versus the Bucs. Defense will dominate. Offense will control the game, mixing it up, not just running. Brock can get it downfield. Hey, again, we've already seen Seattle. We've seen Seattle and the 49ers. We've seen that story. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see if it comes out the same way. Seattle's a little bit different team, but I don't know if Seattle is that great of a team to begin with. 49ers can go up there. I think they can do it if they play their best ball. They should be able to come out of there with a victory. That's right, Randall. This could be the 49ers could win the division on Thursday night. And then Lucas comes in and says division games are always hard to win. Absolutely. They are. I just think the 49ers, when you look at this matchup with the 49ers against Seattle, the 49ers defense, I think, will be able to shut down Seattle. It's a matter of can the offense get the points on the board. I think this is going to be a game I think the 49ers can win by a couple of scores if they just do it right. So that's there. And then we have Robert Davis comes in and says, "Hi, Jack. Hope you feel better." I feel a lot better. I just have this cough that just keeps nagging, and every once in a while it pops up. And so you guys hear me coughing, but for the most part, I'm feeling better overall. So that's it for tonight. Now, make sure you tune in. I've got some stuff coming up tomorrow. I'll be back with my with our good pal Rob Shue. He's going to be joining the channel tomorrow. We'll be on at 7:00 for the Hammerhead show. Also have information on the 49ers injuries as that news comes through. So just keep it locked into the channel. Put up a video just a little bit ago with the 49ers when they were leaving the field after the games tonight, so check that out. You can also see some video of Tom Brady from warm-ups. Deebo Samuel leading the team out to the field for warm-ups as well. So that's all already on the channel, but keep it locked in. There'll be lots of news and information coming up in the coming days as we get ready for a short week. Thursday in Seattle coming up. Do me a favor, everybody, if you can do me a couple of things. Hit that like button. Likes are the most important things that you can do for us on any YouTube content creator. You hit that like button, that's what helps get the signal out and more people see it. Secondly, if you're watching the show and you're not normally somebody who is subscribed to this channel, hit the subscribe button. The more people that subscribe, the better it is. And I love talking to you guys about 49ers football. So hit that subscribe button as well. I want to say thanks to Black 59 Razor, who says, have a safe ride home. Lucas, great to meet you. What a great day. It was absolutely fantastic to see you. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button, guys. I will be back tomorrow. Appreciate each and every one of you. Take care. Talk to you soon.